Today, Monroe County Sheriff's Office, in conjunction with Madisonville and Sweetwater Police Departments, made arrests in reference to the execution of Operation RX. This operation is the accumulation of 6 months of cooperative investigating, targeting prescription medication, fraud, and pseudoephedrine purchases in excess of legal limits. During today's operation, 3 meth labs were taken down. Also, 4 individuals were arrested for tin-care fraud and various other charges. Over 100 criminal indictments were issued on approximately 60 individuals. Over 40 arrests were made today. Numerous local and state agencies participated in the execution of the arrest warrants. I would like to say thank you to the officers involved in this operation: Madisonville Police Department, Sweetwater Police Department, Counter Drug Task Force, Inspector General, Tennessee Meth Task Force, Tennessee Highway Patrol. I would also like to thank Madisonville Police Chief Gregg, Sweetwater Police Chief Byrum for working together with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. It's good to have departments working well together. Many things can be achieved by working together, and this is proof of that. Our towns and communities are a better place for what we have done today, a safer place for our families, friends, and neighbors. Thank you. If y'all have any questions or anything, I'd be glad to answer right now. The Chief's and I.
Ask him how many houses did they get?
How many places did you hit?
Oh, numerous, too numerous probably to.
Well, there's 60 individuals, so I would assume
approximate would be fine.
50 to 55
Yes.
different locations.
Several of these suspects, or I say several, 3 when we went to arrest them, they had other narcotics on them at the time, so that'll be additional charges on them. Such as 2 I know were caught in traffic stops, and they had narcotics on them at that time, so there'll be additional charges coming for those guys. It will be filed today on state warrants.
Or you have very young people, or is it a variety?
They range in age.
18
50 down to 20
retirement. 18 to retirement. Yes, sir.
How long have y'all been working on this?
Approximately 6 months.
And there's additional charges that'll be coming even after today that we don't have all the paperwork finished on for some reasons, but there'll be more indictments, coming at a later time.
How many more are there out there still?
How many do you think?
We've got around 40, so we got around 20, approximately 20 more.
And since we've assembled in the room, I've heard the officers talk about picking up 3 or 4 more. So I think as the night goes on, we'll be pretty successful in almost achieving our goal of 100%.
As a rule, do you fellows get people call in and give themselves up and come on in?
We have a lot of give themselves up. Yes, in fact, we did have one today that did that, and there'll probably be more too once they find this out, I'm sure.
That's an old time usage. The sheriff calls up and said, "Come in, I got a warrant," and they come in. That's fantastic.
Yes, yes it is. And that makes it much better.
Did them give you any trouble? Or did them try to run or fight you or anything?
Actually, it's been a pretty smooth operation. Things went real well. I think plans were put out effectively, and we had a good plan together. You never know when that might happen, but fortunately everything went well. We've not had any bad scenes. Everything went well.
What was the location that you got the most at one stop?
You talking about numbers of individuals?
Yeah.
Or?
Probably Cedar, well,
Yeah,
the apartment complex out here in Madisonville.
Be the Holiday Motor Home.
You got what?
I think we got 4 or 5 at that one location. 5.
4 in the van and Travis.
5 at that location.
I didn't know if you went back and got some more.
No, sir.
I understand the governor might have got some more down there.
Well, those are on unrelated warrants.
Oh,
The ones
okay.
that he picked up were on unrelated warrants, but he did arrest a couple more individuals down there at that location today. One thing I like to say, since we're all talking, and the guys, I can't say enough for the narcotics officers that work this thing. Jim Shaw and Marty Kyle and Conway Mason. These guys have worked tirelessly, and they have done a super job putting this thing together, not only throughout the whole span of about 6 months, but for the last couple of days, a lot of sleepless nights, And I can't thank those individuals enough, and I'm sure the sheriff and the chief
I echo that
both
same.
agree.
I think, I don't think Marty's been to bed, all night there. He went all day yesterday.
I told Jim he got tomorrow off.
One thing we've not brought up, and we've had approximately 7 vehicles seized during this operation. 13 vehicles have been seized during this operation, and those assets will be split equally among the agencies that, involved in this.
Did the 10th Judicial, did they join you guys in this one?
I don't think they were involved in this one. One thing that I'd like to touch on the outside agencies that came in, the Inspector General's office, that's becoming a great asset for us, especially with the economic times that we're in right now. And the downfall that we've seen in TennCare, those guys were able to step in and do a super job, and I think there was 5 indictments for TennCare fraud.
Four, actually.
Four, okay. And to me, that's us protecting our tax dollars, not only protecting our citizens, but protecting our tax dollars. And I think that's a good asset that we've hit on, and those guys work real well with us during this operation.
How did the TennCare fraud, what was the MO on that?
Well, it was just involving the prescription drugs, whether they were getting their prescription drugs through TennCare and then turn around and sell them rather than take them for what they were prescribed for.
What's this gonna do to your jail situation as far as overcrowded, Sheriff?
Actually, we're overcrowded. We were overcrowded already. It's been well over a year, I guess, since we had a roundup, and this we've held back and held back. It's just one of those places where you gotta go on forward, and unfortunately we are crowded in the jail, and it is going to add extra burden to us, but we're going to handle it in the best way we know. We've made some provisions for that, although some of them will bond out. Many of them will have a no bond, and we'll get to keep them. And then we really, most of them need to stay. Some of them need to stay in here, and it's, we hate to let them go after we do a hard day's work and or 6 months work here, and just turn them back out on the street for them to do the same thing again. They need some incarceration, and that's a thing that we have statewide all over the country. The jail overcrowdedness. I mean, the state has this problem. We have the problem. I don't know what the state's going to do to rectify it, but we have about approximately 70 state inmates right now, and this is going to add to that. Local inmates we could probably cover if we didn't have state inmates, but we have them too, so they're counted also. We had 218 prior to this happening. We sent 5 to the state yesterday, to state prisons, and today we're going to have approximately 40 more in there. So we're going to do our best to take care of them and do the best thing with what we got, and it's hard. And the overcrowdedness, it creates a number of problems, but I think as things goes on, we'll be able to rectify that at some point.
One thing that we've got to touch on also that I think the sheriff touched a little bit on earlier, we've got the meth task force involved, and they have an ion scanner. And basically what that does, that every suspect that we brought in tonight that was charged or today, they were able to take and swab them, and it'll tell what they've been around. We had approximately, do you guys remember, 4 that had been involved in cocaine that tested positive for cocaine. I've got a list right there, yes. We've got 4 that test positive for cocaine, 5 that test positive for being around methamphetamines, 1 for THC, 1 for TNT, and 2 for ephedrine, and we even had 1 that tested positive for heroin. And what this is, this swabs their skin or their clothing, and it shows if they've been around it or not. As well as the vehicles that we seized, we test those vehicles also. And again, it's just, it's technology at the best, working with law enforcement, try to make our community safer and for a better place for us to raise our children. We've talked to the meth task force, and if you guys would like to, when we recess break from here, if you'd like to go over and watch, they'll demonstrate how they do an ion scan for you and show you some results like that. Very supportive, everybody working together. It's been a great day for law enforcement.
I'd like to say, it is a great day, and I think, we're showing the drug dealers in this county that law enforcement's together. We're working together, and we're going to do everything we can to stop this. This is a problem that's disrupted many, many families in our county, and it's countless money that it costs through TennCare fraud, different things the taxpayers haven't paid, health care for them, and it's just great that law enforcement is working so close together.
I
in
might
Monroe
miss
County.
it, how
I'm
many,
really proud
how
of that.
many inmates can you take on,